not had the opportunity to interact with many people from Marrakech, but the number of people that we've interacted, it's been such a fun ride. People are here so warm, so welcoming, so helpful, and they're also very joyous. Like we remember when we're coming back from the airport, and we were dancing with our driver, with our chauffeur. It was so good. And Marrakech Film Festival is probably, I would say, the warmest festival that I've been to. It reminds you of a community. It gives you that feeling that you're part of a community and not just here as a filmmaker or anything. It's just that you feel like all of us are, united with the love for cinema. And that's what really comes across. So I love it and I want to come back here.
Yes, I would second the same. I think we've all felt the warmth and the love. And that feeling of bonhomie and comradeship almost, there is a competitiveness in film festivals usually, but here it feels like it's more about celebrating the fact that we can make art and the fact that we can tell stories. And for artists, that's always the most wonderful environment where you feel like you can thrive. And so, yeah, I would say the same. And also to see the love that they have for Indian films and for our culture. I think it's been very, very heartwarming. And we saw it yesterday when there was in conversation with Mr. Karan Johar, our producer. And, the crowd was so warm and effusive. And they shouted out the film because it was one day after our premiere. And they spoke of the film again. And to get that kind of love is very heartwarming. And we want to give it all back and keep coming to Marrakech, inshallah.
Yeah, when we came here, I was in awe with the kind of hospitality they gave us. And what I'm in love with is the atmosphere here. This is very relaxing, so work doesn't feel like work here. And it is so good to know that Marrakech people knows Bollywood and all the films of Bollywood. Also, what I really loved, is Moroccan tea and Moroccan bread is what I really loved, and we are going to buy it also right now. So yeah, it's been amazing experience till now, and I really hope that we come here again and again. And the kind of love that they have shown us, we saw 1,400 people were there in the theater to watch our film also. So that kind of gave us validation that yes, people are there for us, and I really feel like coming here again and again.
What differentiates the friendship of Homebound from the other films that have come out of India, at least, is the connection that is born out of the shared oppression. Because here is a Dalit and here is a Muslim boy. Now they both have been marginalized. And in that, their search for dignity is the connection between them. That has not been seen before. And how they form this bond and how they share the joy. And because they feel that the world is against them, but they can be together and they can look out for each other and they can be share their joys, and not just them. And also, first time the friendship is also about their families. The friendship is also between the families. So I feel this bonhomie of, of people who are often overlooked is the differentiator of the friendship. And that's why I think it's also very universal. Because across the world, we see that people connect with sometimes people whose languages are different, but then, both of them are oppressed by the state or othered by society. So there is that connection. And connection is the biggest form of resistance. What we've been observing in the post-pandemic world is that the rising hatred and the rising intolerance for people who are not of your kind, people who don't speak your language, people who don't have the same choices of food, of sexuality, of religion, who practice different faith. And this we've seen over and over in the past 5 years. And I think through Homebound, what we want to create this sentiment that eventually empathy is what is going to make us all together. Because we can keep pointing out fingers at each other, but I think it's a point where we need to really hone in and lean on each other. And, we should disagree with each other, We don't have to agree with each other, but we cannot deny the humanity that exists between us. I mean, that's the universal message, and we feel that. I hope people see it in them that people of privilege acknowledge their privilege, and people who have been othered find a sense of relatability in this film, and that's our hope. Well, I have been influenced a lot by Satyajit Ray and a host of Indian filmmakers, but also world cinema. I would say the Dafdin brothers from Belgium, Mr. Ken Loach from the UK, and Michael Haneke, and Fellini, of course. I think every filmmaker is a huge fan of them, and also recently also liked Abdul Latif Keshishi. His films have also been quite amazing. Yeah, so I mean, uh, so much of cinema is learnt via watching, and so many of these masters have left their footprint, and kind of we are grappling to it, and we're kind of making our own stories. We're trying to tell our own stories, but the idiom that has been, given to us by them. I don't think there should be a limit to the globalization of cinema. In fact, I think cinema is the one that unites everyone together. I've seen it often happen, is because we may watch films from a language that we don't know, a culture that we don't know, but we still find a connection. We still find the stories invigorating. You may not have been to a. It's like I keep saying that how world cinema has been. Every time I watch, it's like I'm opening a window, and window opens to another country, and you travel every country through it. So I feel that the borders should not be there. In fact, I think more of the globalization is welcome, because collaboration between various countries is awesome. When a Park Chan-wook make an American film, it's lovely. It's very good to see that so many of the Spanish trio of Guillermo and Arriaga and Alfonso Cuarón making films. It's lovely, and I think we should all embrace that culture.
Well, I actually believe that cinema is kind of the centerpiece of cultural exchange. I think that when you talk about globalization and the world becoming a smaller place, I think cinema has a very big part to play in that, and the arts have a very big part to play in that. But because cinema is the common man's medium, what we don't realize often is through entertainment, we're also learning about different cultures. The fact that today we sit here and there's this sense of familiarity between you and me because you've seen Indian movies, and you can talk about, oh, we've seen that one and Karan Johar and that song, and Shah Rukh Khan. That means that we're bringing our culture to the world, and that opens up the world to you, So I think it's a very important part of being able to move forward, because sometimes when you don't know something, you're intimidated by it or you're closed down to it. And I think when you talk about globalization and progressing as a species, it's very important to be able to acknowledge each other, And I think cinema does that in a very beautiful way. That's why I'm very proud of what we do, and I think it's a meritable job, Cultural exchange, I think, is at the center of it. So yeah, Viva Cinema.
I don't think so. There should be any limit to it. I think cinema is a medium and is an agent where it connects to a whole world with
Universal
each.
language.
Yeah, it's a universal language, and I don't think so. There should be any limit to it. At the same time, I do not have any big answer to it, and with half knowledge, I don't feel like giving any kind of point of view without having full knowledge of it. So I better not answer this question. Thank you.
Honestly speaking, I'm not surprised, because what I realized yesterday, even while watching the conversation and breaking down these films, and like he said, Mr. Karan Johar mentioned that our films are not traditionally musicals, but we tell our stories through song. We break the scene to do a song and then go back, and that's kind of the traditional format of what you like to call a Bollywood film. Hindi cinema has been like that for eons, for decades. I think what we bring is a sense of celebration and love and larger than life cinema. And I'm not surprised that that's popular, because I think the cinema is made to please the audience. You know, it's meant for fan service. And so, and invariably we tell our stories through that. So I'm glad to see that there is so much love for it. The popularity part, you know, we're aware of. Our films are distributed across the world. It's a very specific type of cinema only India can make, you know. But to see the kind of love and the knowledge, like you said, the popularity, that was heartwarming to see. And now I can see there are so many similarities in our culture, even in the art over here, the kind of you know, embroidery and the kind of work that we see. I was talking yesterday about you know, the architecture. I think I see that kind of link between the two cultures, and hopefully we can make more movies from Marrakech as well, and be able to bridge that gap and tell our stories together. Yeah.
I forgot the question.
The question was, were you surprised to see the popularity for Indian cinema here?
You know, I was just chatting outside, and somebody told me that Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gum is probably the most popular film here, and they were telling me that how every grandmother, every daughter, everyone knows this film, and it is. My heart fills with pride, especially because also it's our producer's film. It feels like, you know, Morocco and India are not so different. You know, our cultures are so integrated. You know, it's apart from what he said about, you know, the aesthetically how close we look. And like, you know, your city reminds us of Jaipur, which is also like a pink city in terms of architecture. You know, in like you have the bread that is very similar to our bread. You know, your couscous is very much like our rice. So we find that connection so interesting that, you know, I think it's seeping in through our cultures. And that's why I think Bollywood musicals and, you know, the fun and the joy and emotions and all of it connects so well, because it's like I think we are one big family, all of us. And yeah, I love it.
I was little surprised for sure. I didn't know there is one more Mumbai and one more Rajasthan outside India. I was also very surprised to see that everyone over here knows Hindi cinema so well, knows about Hindi films and songs, and our superstar like Shah Rukh Khan sir. People know him and they love them so much, like we do. So I was very surprised. I knew at some extent that people know about this, but I didn't know the actual intensity of how well they know it. I'm very surprised and very happy that there is one more like India outside India.
You know, can I add one small thing? So we've been touring a lot with our film. We started in New York, then went to LA, then went to London, and also this film has traveled to multiple places: Zurich, Melbourne, Cairo, you know, Sao Paulo, and everywhere. But you know, this is where we felt so much at home with the food and the culture and the warmth of the people. It feels so home, you know.